Welcome back everyone to Angela's Craft Room. Today I'm going to be making a card for you using the Guy Greetings stamp set, which is a really great stamp set to add to your collection if you're needing one for mail cards. This is my go-to stamp set when I'm making mail themed cards. So what I also wanted to show you was in previous videos I did a couple of techniques. One was this one, which was using the embossing paste, and we made it our own colour, and I showed you how to do that with your ink refills and the embossing paste, and I'll put the link down below to that tutorial in case you missed it. And also the other one was I showed you these new embellishments, stars and hearts elements that come in that plain wood colour, but then I showed you how you can just colour them using your ink pads to colour coordinate with your card. And we did one in Bermuda Bay and we did one in soft suede. So those two links I will put below. And then we clear embossed it. So we're going to use that today. So also what I'm going to do first is I've cut out one of the stamped in StazOn Jet Black, or you can use basic black archival ink, it's fine. And then I've just cut out the car. And then we're going to I've made a little palette here with the Early Espresso. It's a bit watery, so I'll just tap it on my paper toweling. And we're just going to quickly colour that one. We're not going to be too fussy with it, just so it's got a little bit of colour on the car. So the aqua painter is very easy to use. You just fill the barrel with water, but just make sure you have a little bit of paper toweling to the side, so if it does get too watery you can dab it off. Now I normally would make the wheels black, but all I wanted to do today was just add a bit of colour to the car so it doesn't look too bland going on the nicely mail themed card, which we've used soft suede and Bermuda Bay is what we did the star and heart elements in. So we don't have to be really fussy. It's just nice to have a bit of colour on it. And then this can dry while we're just putting the card together, which is going to be very easy and quick. So I'm just going to put a bit on the wheels. Just checking that I'm still in focus for you to see what I'm doing. Just a little bit on that piece over there, and then just the front wheel. So it's quite easy to colour, quite easy and fast to colour with the aqua painter, and you don't have to cut your image out, just stamp it on your card if that's what you prefer. I do like to cut a lot of my elements out so that I can add them to the card with some stamping dimensionals. Just add a little bit more just on the actual body of the card. And you can add some Wink Stella. Like that. Okay, so that was quite easy and fast. So we'll just pop that over there, and we'll just pop that up there to dry. So we're finished with the aqua painter. So now my next step was I'm going to bring back in my early espresso, but I'm not using it as a palette like I did with the aqua painter. I'm using the actual pad. Now you can use a Stampin' Up sponge to do this process. So I'm just going to sponge over. So I've got soft suede cardstock, and then that's how we mixed up using 2 drops of soft suede from the ink refill into the embossing paste, and then I let it dry overnight. So that's, if I didn't sponge it, that's the colour you would get now. But I want a little bit of darker, so I like to use a blending tool when I'm doing this. And I'm not being really that fussy. It's very easy to sponge like this. It's not a Stampin' Up tool. It does come from Ranger, but I just find it's a lot easier for me to sponge with one of these. I don't have to add too much pressure. And I'll show you the difference in colour before I completely sponge the whole thing. I'll show you one corner. So it just depends how dark you want it, or you might like the other look where you didn't sponge it at all. That's entirely up to you. Now, if I just bring it up for you, you can see this is the original, and that is more the darker, adding the sponging technique on top. So I'll just finish this off. I just think it really does sponge very well over the embossing paste. Now, as I said in the earlier video, my tip would be with the embossing paste is to let it dry overnight, and then it's well and truly dry. But I really like this look with the embossing paste. I just felt it wasn't quite dark enough, so I thought I'd just sponge a little bit of early espresso over it so you could see the difference in colour. Okay, so we're finished with that. See how quick and easy that was. We'll get rid of that. So you can see that that's darkened it somewhat, quite a bit actually. So then I'm going to add a piece of the new Bermuda Bay stitched ribbon, 3/8 of an inch wide, or 1 centimetre. So I'm just going to pop some tear and tape on the back. Let's peel that off. So I'm just going to put one piece of the ribbon on the tear and tape and just wrap it around the card, like most of you have seen me, and this is how I do my ribbon and lace. So that is sitting up a bit, but I think once it's down on the card it'll be fine. Or we can always try and put a couple of glue dots underneath it, but I prefer not to because I think it just puts a bit of a bump underneath your ribbon. So then I'm going to add a sentiment, which I've used a piece of soft suede, then a piece, and then I've stamped the word congratulations on some Blushing Bride cardstock. And I'm just going to pop some dimensionals on the back. And if you don't know, Stampin' Up have brought out a new product. They've also brought out the mini dimensionals, which is really handy. We don't have to cut these in half anymore. So I just want to put the sentiment on first because then I know where I can fit my card and my other elements that I'm adding to the card. Nothing worse than putting the sentiment on and then, or not putting leaving the sentiment to last, and it's not going to fit. So then we're going to take, I've cut out, using the layering squares, I've cut out a piece in Bermuda Bay, and I think I'm going to put it about there, because with the ones we did the other day with the hearts and stars elements, what I've done is I've layered them. So this one was in, the big one was in soft suede, then it's got one in Bermuda Bay, and that little dot comes from the new glitter enamel dots, which is really well worth having. It's quite a big packet, lasts you quite a while. So I'm going to put the car on, but just want to make sure that I most probably can bring that over a little bit more, because I want to make sure that my star is going to fit on there, which it will. So there. So I'll just leave that there for a minute. So then I'll just grab my glue and we'll pop a little bit of glue on the back. And I think this bottle's just about given up the ghost on me. You can see I'm going to have to spread that with my cotton bud, because I'm on the last bit of that one. Go through quite a bit of adhesive, but multi-purpose liquid glue is my favourite. It's the one I use the most of. So just because it came out in a big blob, I just need to. So then I want to put it, so I want to try and make it as straight as possible. So if we line it up with the brick wall, just gives you that little break from the brick wall. And then we're going to pop our car, I should say, about there, I think, because I want that. Now, I'm going to use the fine tip glue pen for the wood, just to make sure it does really stick down, but just be wary with it, as it is a very strong adhesive, and once it goes down I don't think it's going to give me much time to move it. So you have to make sure you're grabbing hold of it that you're going to have it where you want it, which is about there. Oops. So just hold it down for a few seconds. It's going to play nicely with me, I hope. Maybe I should have used tear and tape for the wood embellishment. Yep, I think it's going to be alright. As I say, it is quite a strong adhesive. Now we're just going to put on some more dimensionals onto our car. I might add a little bit of Winker Stella. So wherever you are in the world, I'm in Australia and it's our winter at the moment, but we're having quite a mild winter at the moment where I am in Queensland, and it hasn't been too bad at all. So now we're just going to pop the car just under the star there. And it's important to put your lid back on that fine tip glue, because it's got a very fine needle and it helps to stop clogging is the word I'm looking for. So I'm just going to add a bit of Winker Stella just because I can, just to brighten up that early espresso. And the Winker Stella is actually a very good blending if you're wanting to blend, like when you're watercolouring. It is a very good product to blend with as well. So I'm quite happy with that, how that's come up. Now I think I will apply this to the card. So I've got a couple of more things to put on it, but I'll just apply it first. So what I started off with was soft suede, which was 11 inches long and 4 1/4 inches wide, and then scored at the 5 1/2 mark. And then I added another piece of soft suede inside, and I stamped it with the car. So that's 5 1/4 by 4 inches for the inside, and that's the same size for my mat on the front, which is 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, so let's see if this will play with me and I can get some glue out, otherwise we will have to open another one. Might just be able to get enough out for this card. I've got a couple of other stars to add to it, but I think it's just going to be that bit easier if it's already on the card. And we'll see whether we need to put any So I'll turn that round so I don't put it on upside down, and I just put it on one of my grid lines so I know that it's straight. So the multi-purpose glue is good because I can have those few seconds to move it. Just a little bit seeped out there, but that's all right, it'll dry clear. So I just need to press that down because we've put a lot of ink and sponging onto this card, so you just need to go around the edges. But see, once I've got the mat onto the card, the ribbon has sat down, so it's behaving itself. So we won't need to put any glue dots under there. I thought it would sit down once it was on the card, which will be a lot easier for us to put the other stars on it. So I did another layered one with Bermuda Bay being the big one, then with soft suede and one of those little new glimmer dots, or I should say glitter dots. Now I'm just going to put a piece of tear and tape on the back of this because I want it to stick to the ribbon. So I know I've been covering a lot of mail cards lately in my videos, but I'm finding by your comments that you do struggle doing the mail theme cards. So I thought I'd do a few for you, hopefully to help you. And truly the Guy Greetings stamp set is the one to get for your mail cards. It's a fantastic stamp set. I mainly use the car and all the sentiments. So I'm going to pop, because I actually have another one there. And I've got a brown one which I was going to put on that corner. So that's going to go down there, and that's sticking to the ribbon. If you're trying to stick anything to the ribbon, you must use tear and tape, as I've told you heaps of times. The glue just won't do it for you. Then I'm going to get my fine tip glue pen again, and because that one has really glued down quite well once it took. Just want to pop the needle back in here. Hopefully that will come out for me. I'm just going to dab it over a little bit. And like the other one, I'm most probably going to have to hold it in place just for a little while. So you don't want it like perfectly in line with the other elements. You want it to not counting this one, I try and work like a triangle. I might even put that one, yeah, I don't think that that's going to glue on there with the fine tip glue. I think I'm going to have to go off to the side a little bit. Decisions. I think he looks better about there. So we'll just add a little bit more fine tip glue, and a little of this goes a long way. Like, I've had this bottle, I don't know, it must be for over a year, and it just keeps on keeping on. Lasts forever. So I just want to hold the top of it. So once it goes down, I can't lift it up, so, but I'm quite happy with that placement. So I'll just take off this dirty piece so you can see the card we made. So there we go. Let's bring you in. So that's the mail card we made today using the Guy Greetings. And remember, we used the embossing paste technique for the background, and then we sponged it all over, and then using these plain elements, we coloured those and clear embossed them. And I will put those 2 tutorials at the bottom of this video. So all you need to do is click on see more, and then all the links will come up for you. And then just going into the card, we've just got the car stamped in there. So I hope that helps you with your mail themed cards, and thank you for subscribing to my channel and spending some of your day with me today. Till next time, happy crafting.